Hi everyone. I just finished reading your quizzes, your logs, and your discussion board. On the quizzes, you will find that I have commented on at least one of your questions, if not more, so please read the feedback. It should be available to you. If it isn't, let me know because sometimes when I set it so that students can see it, it's still not right. So please let me know, but I'm pretty sure that I've got it together. Um, and I wrote on your logs, and I want you to be sure to look at that file that I attached to help you see the comments. I put them directly on the paper, and you can't just download your paper and look at it because I didn't do it that way. I did it through the what do you call it, correction system through e-learning. So please click on those comments or open that file, look at where you can find the comments, click on that little icon and you'll see them. I put notes on your log to guide you as to what I'm looking for. Some of you, all you did was you put the quote and then you told me what the quote said. Well, I kind of knew that because I read the quote. So I asked you and talked to you about how to relate it to your own life. Remember what I said about reader response? You could do that. You could explain how the quote related to the theme. So these are the ideas that I'm mostly looking for there. I answered some of your questions on your logs if you had some. If I didn't, chances are the answers are in the world was snow, or they're questions that you need to answer yourself as you learn more about the Holocaust. Don't just ignore these logs. Now, okay, that assignment's done and over with. I can forget about it. Don't forget about night, please. Can be a point of reference as you read The World Must Know and even as you read the other books and see the films in the course. My last words on night. Wow. I think I already told you how hard the book hit me when I read it. It was the first thing, and Night and Fog was the first film that I saw in the Holocaust when I was a sophomore in college. And at that time, I was pretty torn up about what I heard. And I've been out of college almost 40 years. And I still am moved to tears when I read Night. I'm still moved to tears when I read a new survivor's story. Even though the story may be the same, the poignancy of each memoir is enough to touch your soul. Zipporah was Wiesel's baby sister, the little one, the youngest in the family. And she was only 6 or 7 when they went to the camps. And she went with her mother and Zipporah were killed immediately, sent to the chambers. Now, when we watch Schindler's List, you'll see a little girl in a red coat. And Spielberg, the producer of the movie and the director, said he modeled the little girl in the red coat in the film after Zipporah. So you'll want to remember how Wiesel felt when he lost his sister and his mother. Wiesel and his father had never had a really good relationship when he was growing up. His father was a businessman. His father was a leader in the community, and his father was a presence in the home, but not like fathers are today. Maybe some of you had authoritarian fathers, so you kind of know what I mean. But my father wasn't an authoritarian. Yes, I listened to him, but we went to baseball games together. We went to horse racing tracks when they were in Michigan together. We talked about politics together. He was, he was a more of a hands-on father. Today's fathers, I look at my son, who's very hands-on with his almost 5-month-old baby, and that wouldn't have been Wiesel's father. So they really didn't get to know each other until night, until the Nazis came. And he had the utmost respect for his father, Wiesel did. Oh, the utmost respect. In his autobiography, All Rivers Run to the Sea, he discusses how his father still haunts his dreams, how he still thinks he could have done more to save his father. This was very traumatic, to lose parents. It's traumatic to lose parents at any time. I was well into my 40s, maybe 50s. I was in my 50s when my dad died, 40s when my mom. And it's traumatic. As an adult, when I'm on my own with kids of my own, and it's horrible. But when you have parents ripped away from you in that way at 16, 15, 16, you have the rest of your life ahead of you. I can't even imagine the pain, especially to lose them in the way he did. Luckily, his 2 older sisters survived. They found him in the displaced persons camp, but they weren't in a situation where they could take him with them. He stayed in the displaced persons camp after the book ended and spent his time getting an education and then moving on to universities and becoming a journalist. He covered the Israeli war when they fought for their independence from the British, when the State of Israel was formed. He reported on that. He then was sent to the U.S. to report on different Jewish causes. And he was hit by a taxi cab outside the UN when he had been covering some goings on at the UN for his newspaper. And he almost died. He became a U.S. citizen there because his visa was going to run out while he was in the hospital, and the only way that he could have stayed was to become a citizen, and he did, and he didn't regret it. Because he loved the U.S., because the U.S. were the troops that had rescued Buchenwald, and he remembered the soldiers as such loving and giving people. I could go on about Night forever. I've kind of rambled, but I hope you'll do some research on Wiesel and find out more about this remarkable man who has brought the Holocaust into so many people's lives so they can understand how awful fascism is, Nazism is. This week, we're moving to the book The World Must Know, and there's 3 different chapters in there. The first one's the Nazi assault, and you'll have a quiz, a log, and there'll be a discussion on it. But what I want you to look at, and I'm going to move right now to the actual page, what I want you to look at is, when you get there, the first thing I do want you to do is to listen to my video on anti-Semitism. You might want to watch it a couple times. And I want you to look at the anti-Semitism audit of 2014 to see where it is in the world today. It didn't end because the war ended. It is still with us today. Now, before you do the assignments, which is the discussion, the log, and the quiz, please follow these links. I put them here for a reason. They're going to give you a visual, something visual to be able to hook on the ideas in The World Must Know. This is background information, the information about anti-Semitism, and this is the background information on some of the things that happened during the war that you're going to hear there. After you see those, then you probably should be reading, and you should be looking at the Nazi assault log. And let me go over with you. It's due the 17th. Please get rid of this page. Some of you didn't. All you have to do is just doop, 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 and then go down to the actual page here, and you get rid of the page above. You just hit delete. See, it's gone. Okay, this log is different than the one for night. Okay, so each log's going to be a little bit different. So don't think like, you know, they're all going to be the same. I'm going to be bored out of my gourd. No, you're not. Okay, bored out of your gourd is probably a 1960s saying. I'm showing my age. I'm sorry. What I want you to do is to find 10 most important events in the chapter of the Nazi assault. Put them in alphabetical order. Name the event. Describe them. Don't be afraid to write a paragraph or more about them. And then put when they happened. I want you to think about why this book, why this section was written. Why would this textbook be important? And I want you to write down any questions raised by the text. And then I want you to do a little examination of the pictures that are in the text. I think the pictures tell the story in this book much more than the words do, although they do go together. It's important to read it. So I want you to find 5 pictures that show you the key ideas. They may relate to the key event list, they may not. I probably would find things that didn't relate so that you have a broad range of ideas from the text. You can't get the picture in the log, so what you do is type the caption for the picture and include the page number. And then I want you to think about how that picture supports the main idea of the text, how you reacted to it, what you think about it, how it might even relate to things today. Don't be afraid to write a lot in this box here. Some of you didn't write as much as you needed to, okay? And that's the end of the log. It is kind of 2 pages this time. But I think that it's important for you to be very careful going through the textbook. And that's a way to do it, okay? The quiz is 40 points. It's a true-false on the Nazi assault. I think that your log will help you take it. And I also think that taking notes on the log would be, on the chapter might be helpful too. Of course, you can use your books. You have 2 hours to take it. But I don't think you can look up every little thing in 2 hours. Now, the discussion, and by Thursday, you should have most of the Nazi assault read by then so that you can answer this question. You might not have the log down, but you'd have the reading done. And my question is, targeting and scapegoating a group of people still exists today. Using what you've learned about the targeting of Jews, identify a situation occurring today, I have to fix that, in the U.S. that is similar to the actions taken by the Nazis toward a group of people that live in the U.S. So I want you to find out what's happening today that's similar to what happened when the Nazis were around. Explain what's happening to those people. Compare it to the action of the Nazis. Why do you think groups are still targeted today? Hang on, let me quiet down my dog. Sorry about that, but my dog was barking at something non-existent out there. I'm sure she thought it was a zombie or some sort of thing from The Walking Dead that was coming to get me, and she scared it away. So anyways, back to this. So you're going to write that about what the action is, what's happening, compare it to the Nazis, why are groups still targeted today, what's going on, that all this just didn't end with World War II. And use examples from your life and refer to the book, especially when you're talking about the actions of the Nazis. Be specific. I don't have a word count on here, but I'd say it should be maybe close to 500 words. If it's not 500, don't panic. But I think to do a good job, it would be 300 to 500. Then by Saturday, read all the posts. There's not that many people in here that you can't read them all. I want you to write to one person that doesn't have a reply. Just one person this time. And in your reply, did you agree with the person? Explain why you felt this way. And then you add new information to support your answer. Please start a conversation. Reply to the person that replies to you. And discuss this incident, discuss these incidents, and really get a good understanding for them. I would hope that as we talk about some of these incidents, that if they're differing viewpoints, that we are polite, that we are using facts from reputable sources to support our ideas, and that we are kind to each other and don't attack the person. Just discuss the ideas without personal attacks. I think that's all I have to say to you. Just recapping, watch the video, look at the report, read my discussion here, my things here. Read the book first. You can't do anything till you read the book. Make sure you follow the links. Do the discussion, do Thursday, replies on Sunday. These two things, the log and the quiz, are due Sunday. If I have confused you terribly, you know that Remind is there to help you. Once again, all of you did well this week. Some of you had some problems with the quiz, but I think what you need to do is just slow down and use the book. And those of you that didn't do very well, maybe on the quiz or on the logs, maybe you waited till the last minute. This isn't something you can do Sunday night. You really need to take your time with it. Have a good week. Keep in touch if you have any problems, okay? Thanks.